My people, I have done my research, and while the four walls of the courtroom might keep some conversations private, the court records and recent events tell us a very dramatic story. So, let's unpack this gist together. First, you need to understand the context. The N50 in that headline is the date that Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja fixed to deliver his judgment in the long-running terrorism trial against Nnamdi Kanu. This was after the judge ruled that Kanu had waived his right to defend himself. Now, was there a private conversation? The court documents don't reveal a secret meeting, but what they show is a series of very public and passionate appeals from the judge to Kanu and very strong statements from Kanu to the judge. It was a legal drama unfolding right before our eyes. Let me break it down. The judge's plea in the name of Almighty God. As Kanu, who decided to represent himself, kept refusing to open his defense, the judge, Justice Omotosho, became like a father pleading with a stubborn son. My people, the judge literally appealed to Kanu not once, not twice, but on several occasions. And he did it in the name of Almighty God. One report says the judge told him, just like I did the other time, I appeal to you in the name of Almighty God to get a legal expert that can put you through. My dear brother, I appeal to you in the name of Almighty God to get a lawyer who is an expert in criminal law to put you through. He even compared the situation to the biblical story of Adam being given a chance to explain why he ate the forbidden fruit. The judge was essentially saying, I have given you this opportunity to defend yourself. Please use it. But Kanu stood his ground. So, what was Kanu's "free me now" message? While he may not have whispered it privately, his message to the court was loud, clear, and consistent. Free me now because you have no legal right to try me. He did not just say it with words, he backed it up with legal motions and actions in court. His main reasons are stunning. Trial under a dead law. Kanu and his defense team have repeatedly argued that the government is prosecuting him under the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act of 2013, which was repealed and replaced by a new law in 2022. They insist that you cannot try a person under a law that no longer exists. As his lawyer said, no law asserts no trial. This is the cornerstone of his "free me now" argument. A plea taken under pressure. Kanu told the court that his initial not guilty plea should be cancelled. He claimed that when the registrar asked him if he understood the charge, his first response was, I don't. He argued that the subsequent plea was made under pressure and without the court properly explaining the charges to him, making the whole process a nullity. The issue of jurisdiction. He filed motions challenging the court's very authority to hear the case, pointing to his controversial rendition from Kenya in 2021, which previous courts have declared illegal. His current legal team has warned that any judgment given without first ruling on these jurisdiction issues would be a certified constitutional nullity. So when you see that headline, "Free me now," this is what it refers to. It's not a secret plea, but a bold legal demand grounded in these controversial arguments. He is essentially telling the judge, stop this trial immediately and free me now. So, what could be the stunning thing he told the judge? My people, based on the court proceedings, the stunning moment came when Kanu, after being given a final chance to open his defense, decided to file a no-case submission. This is a legal move where a defendant says, the prosecution has not presented any strong evidence that links me to this crime, so I have no case to answer. You should just free me now. But here is the real kicker that makes this whole situation a big puzzle. While Kanu was telling the judge in Abuja to free him because the terrorism law is dead, his own legal team was in another court, the Court of Appeal, asking for a different kind of freedom. They were asking the appeal court to reinstate the judgment it gave in October 2022 that discharged him and prohibited any further trial. Yes, you heard me right. The Court of Appeal had already discharged him over the illegal rendition from Kenya. So his team is asking, why are we still arguing in a lower court when a higher court has already set him free? This is the ultimate "free me now" message. It's like someone asking a messenger for help when the ogre at the top has already given an order. The related talk. What does this mean for Nigeria? Now let's have a related talk, because this is not just about one man. This is about the rule of law and the Nigerian justice system. On one hand, the government is saying we must protect the security of this country and hold people accountable. On the other hand, you have a man and his supporters saying the courts, including your own appeal courts, have spoken, so you must obey the law. This creates a big tension. It makes ordinary people like you and me wonder, who is truly in charge? Is it the government or the law? When court orders are not obeyed, it weakens our democracy. It makes investors from other countries afraid to bring their money here. It affects every single one of us. So, this gist about Nnamdi Kanu is more than just a headline. It is a mirror showing us the big issues we need to fix as a nation. We need to respect the law, whether it favors us or not. That is the only way we can build a country where there is true peace and justice for everyone. Just when we thought the drama couldn't get bigger, news broke that Nnamdi Kanu has filed a fresh, massive lawsuit against the federal government of Nigeria and the Department of State Services, DSS. The amount? A staggering 50 billion naira. What is this new case about? It is not directly about the terrorism charges. This one is a fundamental human rights lawsuit. His legal team, led by barrister Aloy Ejimakor, is arguing that his rights have been severely violated in two major ways. Violation of his right to a fair trial. The lawsuit states that the DSS has willfully disobeyed two previous court orders that granted him the right to have a private doctor of his choice examine him and the right to meet with his lawyers in private without any security agents listening in. For months, the DSS has refused to obey these court orders. How can a man prepare for his defense if he can't even speak to his lawyers in private? This, his team argues, is a direct attack on his right to a fair hearing. The lingering issue of his rendition. The suit is also asking the court to enforce the October 2022 judgment of the Court of Appeal which discharged him. They are saying, a higher court has already set this man free. Why are you still holding him and trying him again? This new lawsuit is essentially using another legal avenue to scream that same message, free me now. Your continued detention of me is illegal. So, while one court in Abuja is deciding on the terrorism trial, another court will now be deciding on this N50 Billion human rights case. It's like opening a second battlefront in a legal war. What does all of this mean for his freedom? My people, this is the big question on everyone's mind. The situation is now a waiting game. Here is what we are waiting for. The judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja. Justice. James Omotosho is said to rule on the no-case submissions filed by Kanu. If the judge agrees with him, he could be freed immediately. If the judge disagrees, then the trial will continue, and Kanu will be expected to open his defense. The decision of the Court of Appeal. We are also waiting to see if the Court of Appeal will grant his application to reinstate its 2022 judgment that discharged him. If that happens, it would be a major victory for his team and could end all trials against him. The outcome of the new N50 Billion suit. This new case adds another layer. A ruling in his favor here could force the government to release him and also pay him massive compensation for violating his rights. This whole saga, my dear viewers, is a powerful lesson in law, politics, and the struggle for justice. It shows us that one man's fight for freedom can shake an entire nation and make us all question how our systems work. Whether you support him or not, the central issue remains. Should the government obey the orders of its own courts? The answer to that question is what will truly stun us all more than any headline. This is where we will have to end our gist for today. The story is still developing and I promise to bring you updates as they happen. So, my wonderful audience, that's the gist. If you enjoyed this breakdown and you learned something new, please let me know by smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss any update. What do you think will be the final outcome? Let's have a peaceful and interesting discussion in the comment section below. Remember to keep the comments respectful. Thank you for your time. God bless you and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.